Welcome to my channel. Today, it's not just a movie summary. It's a story about one small word that changed a man's life. The movie is called Yes Man, and it shows us how powerful a simple yes can be. We all have times when we say no too often. No to people, no to new things, no to life. But what happens when we say yes? This movie follows Carl, a man who always says no. He avoids friends, skips chances, and closes the door to happiness. But one day, everything changes. He decides to say yes to every opportunity that comes his way, even the strange, funny, and scary ones. And that one decision opens a new world. Yes Man is more than comedy. It's about fear, growth, and second chances. It teaches us that when we open our hearts, amazing things can happen. For English learners, this story is also a great way to learn natural, emotional, and everyday English. The words are simple, the feelings are real, and the message is strong. So let's go into the story of Carl, the man who turned his life around just by saying yes. Yes Man. Part 1. The man who always said no. Carl Allen is a man who says no to almost everything. He does not want to go out. He does not want to meet people. He does not want to try anything new. Every time someone invites him or asks for help, he finds a reason to say no. He thinks saying no keeps him safe. But in truth, he feels lonely, sad, and stuck in the same life every day. His job at the bank is boring. His friends don't see him much anymore. His life feels small and closed. A few years ago, Carl went through a painful breakup. Since then, he has built a wall around himself. He watches movies alone. He avoids calls from his best friend, Peter. He even lies to avoid going out. Carl is afraid that if he opens his heart again, he will be hurt. So, he keeps everything and everyone out. One day, Carl runs into an old friend who looks very happy and full of energy. That friend tells Carl about a self-help program called Yes. It's a seminar where people learn to say yes to every opportunity in life. The friend says, "Just say yes, and your life will change." Carl laughs at first, but something in him feels curious. Maybe he is tired of his old life. Maybe he wants to feel happy again. So he decides to go to the Yes seminar. At the seminar, a man on the stage speaks loudly and with passion. He tells the crowd that saying yes will bring joy, love, success, and excitement. He asks Carl to make a promise, a covenant, he calls it, to say yes to every request, big or small. Carl doesn't believe in these things, but he feels the pressure. Everyone is watching. So, finally, he says yes. He makes the promise, even if he is not sure. From that moment, everything begins to change. After the seminar, Carl stops at a gas station. A homeless man asks him for a ride to a park. Normally, Carl would say no. But now, because of the promise, he says yes. He drives the man to the park. During the ride, the man asks to use Carl's phone and also for some money. Carl gives it, still unsure if this is the right thing. But when he returns to his car, he finds that his gas tank is empty and his phone battery is dead. He starts to feel angry. Saying yes seems like a bad idea. But just then, a young woman on a scooter sees him and offers him a ride. Her name is Allison. She's full of life, and she smiles with her whole heart. She gives him a helmet and takes him to a gas station. Carl can't believe it. If he had not said yes to the man, he would not have met Allison. It's a small moment, but it plants a seed of hope in Carl's mind. Maybe yes is not such a bad thing. The next day, Carl begins to test his new rule. He says yes to guitar lessons, yes to learning Korean, yes to flying lessons, yes to going out with friends. Slowly, Carl starts to feel alive again. He laughs more. He talks more. He sees new places and meets new people. The world starts to open up for him. Saying yes brings funny, strange, and even risky situations. But it also brings new energy to Carl's life. His boss at the bank is surprised when Carl suddenly starts approving loan requests with a smile. Carl becomes more social and more friendly. People like being around him. Even Peter, his best friend, feels happy to see the old Carl coming back. Carl keeps running into Allison, the scooter girl. She's free-spirited and fun. She teaches a photography class where people run and take pictures at the same time. It sounds silly, but Carl says yes. He joins the class, and they spend more time together. He starts to like her, not just for her smile, but for the way she sees life. She enjoys every moment. She doesn't let fear stop her. Carl feels something deep inside. He wants to be like her. But Carl is still unsure. He wonders, am I just saying yes because I have to? He begins to question if this new way of life is real or just forced. He worries that if he says no, bad things will happen. This fear stays in his heart, even as good things happen around him. Carl is changing. But is he free, or is he still controlled? Now by the word yes instead of no. That's the question Carl must answer as the story goes forward. Yes Man, Part 2. A life full of yes. Carl's life begins to look completely different. Before, he used to stay home and watch TV alone. Now he's learning to play guitar. He's attending Korean language classes. He's even going to flying school. He is doing all the things he once thought were silly, scary, or not important. Every time someone asks him to do something, Carl remembers the promise he made. He says yes, even when he feels nervous. Slowly, his mind starts to change. He doesn't feel afraid like before. His heart is opening up. At work, Carl's new attitude brings success. As a loan officer in the bank, he used to say no to every loan. He followed the rules strictly and didn't take risks. But now, when people come to him with new ideas and dreams, Carl listens. He approves their loans. He smiles and talks to them kindly. His boss notices this. The customers are happy. The bank grows. Carl even gets promoted. People at work start calling him the yes guy. Outside of work, Carl continues to meet Allison. She's different from anyone he's ever met. She lives with a free heart. She sings in a band. She teaches a jogging photography class. She paints, she laughs, and she lives like there's no tomorrow. Carl is drawn to her. He feels like she's the light that was missing in his dark life. He doesn't pretend around her. He feels real. One day, Carl and Allison decide to go on a spontaneous trip. It's wild. It's fast. It's unplanned. They book plane tickets on the spot and fly away together. They dance, explore, and enjoy every second. Carl feels happy, truly happy, for the first time in many years. He starts to believe that saying yes is magic. He thinks, this is what life is supposed to feel like. But even as things go well, Carl starts to feel a small fear again. What if all of this disappears? What if Allison finds out that he is only saying yes because of a promise? Not because he really wants to? Carl hasn't told her about the yes seminar. He hasn't shared the truth about why he changed. He's afraid it will ruin everything, so he keeps it a secret. Then one day, the truth comes out. Allison finds out that Carl made a promise to say yes to everything. She feels hurt. She thinks Carl didn't really want to be with her. She says, "Was I just one of the things you had to say yes to?" Carl tries to explain, but it's too late. She feels used. She walks away. Carl is crushed. He realizes that even though he said yes to everything, he never asked himself what he truly wanted. He was so focused on the rule, he forgot about his heart. For the first time, Carl feels the weight of his choices. Saying yes to everything brought him far, but it also pushed him into situations he didn't fully understand. He goes back to the yes seminar to speak to the man who made him promise. Carl wants to end the agreement. He's tired, confused, and heartbroken. He feels like he followed all the rules but still ended up alone. But at the seminar, he learned something important. The leader tells Carl, the point was never to say yes to everything. The point was to stop saying no to life. He explains that Carl was too closed before. The promise was just a push to open his eyes. Now that he's awake, he doesn't have to keep saying yes to everything. He can choose. Real freedom means choosing what feels right, not just saying yes out of fear. This moment changes Carl. He finally understands. Saying yes is powerful, but only when it comes from your heart. He doesn't need to follow rules anymore. He needs to follow truth. His own truth. Carl wants to fix things. He thinks about Allison. He remembers her smile, her laugh, the way she lived fully. He doesn't want to lose her. But this time, if he goes to her, it won't be because of a promise. It will be because he truly wants to. Yes Man Part 3. Saying yes from the heart. Carl is now a changed man. Not because he says yes to everything, but because he finally understands why he started saying yes. It was never about doing everything people asked. It was about opening his heart. He wants to stop living in fear. He wants to stop hiding from life. But most of all, he wants to be honest. With himself and with Allison. He decides to find her. He wants to tell her everything. Not to win her back, but because she deserves the truth. When he meets her, she is still hurt. She feels like she was just another event in his yes journey. But Carl speaks from the heart. He says, I didn't say yes to you because I had to. I said yes because I wanted to. You made me feel alive again. Allison listens. She can see that Carl is not the same man she first met. He is more real now. He's not hiding behind rules or promises. He is learning to choose with feeling. Allison smiles, but she doesn't give an answer right away. She needs time. Carl understands. For once, he doesn't rush. He respects her space. Meanwhile, Carl starts living his new life with balance. He doesn't say yes to everything anymore. He now knows it's okay to say no, but only when the no comes from peace, not fear. If he's tired, he rests. If he doesn't believe in something, he says no. But when something excites him, even if it scares him, he says yes. He follows his joy, not his fear. Carl continues playing guitar. He becomes good at it. He keeps learning Korean and connects with people he never would have talked to before. He even takes flying lessons seriously and dreams of becoming a licensed pilot. His life is full but not busy. He makes time for fun, for quiet, for friends, and for himself. One day, he receives an invitation to a strange event. A costume party where everyone must dress like someone from history. Old Carl would have said no and stayed home. The yes to everything. Carl would have said yes without thinking. But this Carl stops and asks himself, do I want to go? He thinks for a moment and smiles. Yes, he says with a full heart. Not because he has to, but because he truly wants to enjoy it. At the party, something beautiful happens. Allison shows up. She's dressed as a famous poet. Carl is surprised and happy. They talk, laugh, and share stories. There is no pressure between them now, just real connection. Allison says, I needed time to understand too. Now I know you're not just the yes man. You're someone who changed because you wanted to, not because someone told you to. They dance. Not fast, not slow, just right. Carl realizes something. The best kind of yes is not loud or big. It is quiet, honest, and full of love. It's the yes that says, I'm ready to live. Carl also reconnects with his old friends. He says yes to small things, coffee, walks, weekend plans. He becomes part of his community again. People notice his warmth. He listens more. He helps others. He's no longer hiding. He's no longer afraid. His world has become bigger because he opened his heart. Through all this, Carl learns that life is not about rules. It's about choices. Real life happens when we stop letting fear control us. When we say yes to what matters and no to what hurts us, we begin to grow. Carl's journey was not about doing more. It was about feeling more. The funny part? Carl never needed the seminar. The power to change was inside him all along. The seminar just gave him a small push. What truly changed his life was choice. He chose to stop running. He chose to start living. And because of that, everything changed. Yes Man Part 4. A New Way of Living. Carl has come a long way. He started as a man who said no to everything. He was afraid, lonely, and closed. But after saying yes to new things, learning, traveling, meeting people, he found a new way to live. Now he's not just a man who says yes. He's a man who listens to his heart. He spends more time with his best friend, Peter. They laugh like they used to. Carl helps Peter with his wedding plans and even becomes part of the ceremony. He is more present, more giving. Before, he used to avoid such things. Now he says yes to connection, love, and friendship. His life feels full again. Carl also becomes more helpful at work. He doesn't say yes to every loan, but he looks at people with kindness. He understands their needs and gives thoughtful advice. He learns that helping people does not always mean agreeing. Sometimes helping means saying no kindly. Sometimes it means saying yes with care. Carl and Allison grow closer. Their relationship feels stronger now because it is built on truth. There is no lie, no pressure, and no rule forcing them to be together. They choose each other every day. They enjoy simple things, morning walks, late-night talks, and small surprises. They laugh, they grow, and they support each other's dreams. One evening, Carl and Allison go to a hilltop to watch the sunset. Carl looks at the sky and feels something deep. Peace. He tells Allison, "I used to live in a small box. Fear kept me there, but saying yes helped me break the walls. You helped me find that door." Allison smiles. She says, "You opened it yourself." That's when Carl knows. The real power was never in the word yes. It was in his heart, in the courage to try, in the strength to change. He thinks about all the people he met, all the places he went, all the times he said yes and grew a little more. Each yes was a step toward the real Carl, the man he was always meant to be. He thinks back to the seminar, the loudspeaker, the promise, the crazy idea of saying yes to everything. It seemed silly at first, but now he understands. The seminar didn't give him answers. It gave him a question. What are you afraid of? Carl stopped being afraid of life. And that was the beginning of everything. In the final scenes, we see Carl living freely. He is still funny, still curious, still growing. But now, he doesn't say yes out of fear. He says yes from joy. He says yes when it brings meaning. And he says no when something feels wrong, without guilt. That balance is the real lesson. Carl is not perfect. He still makes mistakes. He still learns every day. But he is no longer hiding. He is no longer stuck. He is moving forward, step by step, yes by yes. The movie ends with Carl and Allison riding their scooters side by side, laughing. No big words, no promises. Just two people living in the moment, choosing each other, and choosing life. Yes Man is not just a comedy. It is a lesson about life, fear, and change. Carl was not a bad person. He was just scared. Like many of us, he said no because he didn't want to get hurt. But in saying no to pain, he also said no to joy, to love, and to life itself. This story shows us that we don't need to say yes to everything. We only need to say yes to growth, to love, and to new chances. When we open our hearts, we give life the chance to surprise us. We meet people we never expected. We go places we never dreamed of. We become someone we didn't know we could be. But the most important message is this: the power to change is already inside you. You don't need a big event. You don't need someone to push you. You only need one decision: to stop living in fear and start living in truth. Saying yes is not just about doing things. It's about being brave. It's about trusting life again. It's about choosing hope over fear. And when you do that, even small steps become big changes. So, what will you say yes to today? Let this story inspire you, not just to speak English better, but to live your life more fully.